We're back into the action again. It's Minimax time now as the drivers are getting ready for an exceptional battle. And the racing is going to be very, very tight indeed as Callum Voisin lines up on pole position beside Sam Gornall. Archie Kitching and Jez Williams are next up from Alex Hughes and Ollie Stevens. Hardy Horton and Juan Waniki from Luke Evans, Declan Russell, Jed Murphy, Tristan Rennie, Logan Parker, Nicole Sutherland, Jacob Baldry, Lincoln Bailey-Arneson from Ryan Willis, Cameron Ross and Harry Reynolds. The drivers are battling in position and it's going to be a really exciting tussle. And we're going to see an absolutely sensational battle for all of the competitors as they run to procedure once again. So the race action is going to be absolutely fantastic. We're going to see them as they battle away for the battles in Minimax Final 1. It's going to be very, very close indeed as the competitors will charge their way forward. They will have an amazing run. And now they are running up to speed as they warm up the tyres and brakes. Obviously, they're in the two tram lines now. And we'll watch to see what the drivers can make of this situation. They will battle for supremacy all the way around the circuit as per usual. And the competitors will be ready to go. Let's see how it goes off the start line. And it's a perfect start. No problem at all as they run to the first corner. Voisin will hold the inside line. A terrible start for the man in second on the grid, Sam Gornall. Archie Kitching has got through in a second position, no problem. And then it is Alexander Hughes who has popped up into third place. So a very exciting challenge as the drivers make their way through the first few hairpins, down the airfield straight and up towards the hairpin in the right-hander. So they will go through that long sweeping right-hand hairpin and up to the hairpin section for the left once again. And now back on the power, the drivers just knitting their way through. No major concerns on this first lap as the competitors all storming their way through fairly rapidly but fairly evenly at the early stage of proceedings. So no major problems as the competitors continue to charge forward. So the drivers will continue to battle forward across the line and into the second lap. It's Voisin from Kitching, then Hughes, Williams, Horton and Sam Gornall. He's lost a lot of ground in this first lap then. As up the inside, that's a lovely lunge into third from Jez Williams. Williams makes the move and up into third position in the second hairpin. A few of the Minimax drivers were clearly watching in Rotax 177. They know now where they can make the move. So some great manoeuvres there in the first couple of laps as up to third comes Williams. So Jez Williams into P3 as they go through on the far side of the circuit, back on the power through the flat, very nimble section of the circuit, out of the hairpin and back down the straight that leads to the final chicane. Into the right, left, right. That finishes the lap, and this is going to be a tough battle for Voisin to hold on to now because Kitching is right there for him. Kitching's going to go for the lead and he takes it into the first corner, so Kitching is there. A little bit of hesitation as Voisin leaves the door open and Williams is through to second. Is he going to go through to the lead? No, he's not. Kitching holds him on the inside line. A really exciting battle, and still they progress on the back straight along the airfield straight run and into the hairpin. Some fantastic battling from Minimax. Up into the braking zone for the left. Williams is going to get the run on the inside. Hesitation from Kitching. And Williams into the lead. Wow, that was a big mistake from Kitching. It looked to me as though he just lost a little bit of ground in the braking zone. So now they come off the hairpin and down the stretch up towards the chicane. It's going to be a really tough race for Jez Williams to hang on to now because he's got the two Coles Racing twins right on his tail. Kitching in second, Voisin in third. Alex Hughes is still there running well in fourth position as they come through into lap 4. But Williams is your leader from Kitching and Voisin, and now Kitching is going to have another look as up the inside Alex Hughes is going to hold on valiantly from Hardy Horton in that fourth position spot as they come through down the airfield straight. There's a chance for Kitching. Archie Kitching is trying to get through on Jez Williams, but he hasn't quite been able to make the move back on the inside line. And they sweep through to the right-hander, nearly kissing the curb on the way through, storming through that left sweeper. Really good line there, and out of the hairpin, onto the straight that leads to the final chicane once again. Jez Williams out in front of Archie Kitching. They come through the chicane and onto the main straight. Into the hairpin, the first corner, and that's a lovely move to the inside. That is Ollie Stevens. Ollie Stevens gets a beautiful run there. And that has moved him up another position. And now he's going to try and get him straight back again. Ollie Stevens had a good run, but fighting back. is Alex Hughes. They run side by side. Stevens gets there and it's 3 wide on the exit as here comes Jed Murphy. No, sorry, that's Sam Gornall. And Sam Gornall splits them on the way through. Now he's going to try and get the move on the inside of Ollie Stevens, but he can't make it through on the left-hand hairpin. Wow, terrific racing, not just at the front, but just behind them as well. But out in front, it is still Jez Williams who leads the race. Jez Williams into the final chicane. Still has Archie Kitching all over the back bumper. And a little bit of a gap now back to Callum Voisin. And in 4th position, that is the 20 of Harley Horton. Into 5th is Ollie Stevens. 6th is Gornall. 7th is Hughes. Now up to 8th place is Jed Murphy. Luke Evans and Tristan Rennie is up to 10th. I did say to watch out for him. So he is making the progress and he's getting his way through the field. So some nice moves and some really exciting battles to take us into the next phase. They come through to the hairpin and up to the left-hander once again. So a really exciting run as they get into the 3rd sector. This is where you are really riding the crest of the wave, up close to the walls. No runoff to combat as you battle in for position. And through the chicane section, it is a lovely run for the drivers up at the front. Jez Williams leading, Archie Kitching in 2nd place from Callum Voisin. Looks like a good run this time from Kitching as he gets on terms with Jez Williams. And now up into the braking zone for the first hairpin. Harley Horton still running well in front of the 27 of Ollie Stevens. But they are putting a lot of pressure on each other as they come into the braking zone once again. This is not going to be an easy run. Oh, Tristan Rennie's got a bit of a battle on his hands there for the 25 of Luke Evans. Evans gets through. That was a bit of a late lunge from Evans, really, but Rennie's going to try and get him back again. Up to the inside in the next hairpin, and Rennie's going to try and commit to it, but Evans keeps it going round the outside. Rennie is not able to get back on the inside line. So, great battles in the top 6, great battles in the top 10, and great battles in the midfield as well. Fantastic. And under the gaze of the top brass of Motorsport UK, not just Nigel Mansell watching, but also Chairman David Richards and CEO Hugh Chambers watching the Minimax action as well. Along the start straight, Jez Williams is leading the way. Archie Kitching in 2nd from Callum Voisin. Then in 4th place, it is the 20 of Harley Horton from Ollie Stevens. And then it is the 8 of Sam Gornall and the 9 of Alex Hughes. So they continue to battle away. Great to see the action from each of the competitors as they run through in good formation. I have to say, it's been great watching the Rotax classes, but I would love to see next year stepping up the game and seeing all 3 classes getting a visit to Mansell Raceway. I'd love to see what the Army drivers can do around here, and in particular, wouldn't it be great to see the TKM and Honda Brigade visit Mansell Raceway as well, because they love this place. Cadet racing around here would be absolutely sensational. Down the straight. No problem for Jez Williams at the moment as Archie Kitching runs in front of Callum Voisin, and that's a late lunge from Stevens. He can't get past Harley Horton there. Horton runs wide on the exit though. Maybe that was Ollie Stevens' game plan all along. Hope for a mistake from Horton. He hasn't been able to make the move as a result of it though, so he still has time to find. A big dive at the inside from the 25. Oh, Luke Evans makes space on the inside of the 11, and unfortunately that is that Juan Waniki and Declan Russell come through to the inside line. So jostling in the field for Luke Evans, just getting a little bit too desperate at times. And it looks as though there's some big mechanical issues for the 33 of Jacob Baldry. The Lenzo kart is still having some problems. So we're going to see some really exciting battles as the leaders tighten up. Out in front, the 68 of Jez Williams, in front of Archie Kitching and Callum Voisin. 4th place, the 27 of Ollie Stevens from Harley Horton and Sam Gornall. And they come off the turn once again into the hairpin. Still a great battle between Jez Williams and the 5 of Archie Kitching in front of Callum Voisin. Kitching would still hold the lead of the championship with this performance, but with a win, Jez Williams is looking to move into 2nd in the standings. And in 3rd place, Sam Gornall. That's 3rd in the championship because he's currently running 6th on the racetrack, and that's not going to give him the points he wants. So Sam Gornall is looking likely to fade to 3rd in the Drivers' Championship with this current performance. Horton in 4th in the standings from Hughes, Rennie and Callum Voisin, who would equal Tristan Rennie's tally if he finishes in the top 3. But if he gets back into the leading position, there's a chance to score even more. So the competitors continue to march through the first part of the lap, and that is a nice move on the inside from the 42. That is Ryan Willis. Gets the move on the inside there of the 77. That is a lovely pass on Harry Reynolds, I should say. My apologies. So a very exciting charge at the start of the race then for all of the competitors. But certainly here in Minimax, we've had some really exciting battles through the course of the weekend as they come up to the tight hairpin, up at the far end of the circuit and back onto the home straight. I tell you what, Jez Williams looks ultra confident here. He's got an absolutely incredible run as he goes through the S's, through the right, left, right and back onto the home straight. This is a really good run from Jez Williams. Archie Kitching is struggling to stay with him, even in a straight line at the moment. He manages to make the gain, but he's not quite close enough to make the move into the first corner as Luke Evans is making more friends in the pack. Now he's battling with Logan Parker as they go to the first corner. Luke Evans trying to hang on, but it's not easy, and he knows just how hard it's going to be all the way through the course of the race. They come through into the hairpin once again. Jez Williams driving beautifully at this stage, having an absolutely sensational run. So Jez Williams going well. And out in front, Archie Kitching second from Callum Voisin. Fourth position, that is Ollie Stevens still, the Team Clay Racing driver. He's actually starting to gain ground on the top three now, so Stevens is not out of this by any stretch of the imagination at all. Over the line and up to the hairpin. Sweeping through the long flowing right-hander and back onto the power once again. Into the hairpin. Going beautifully at this precise moment in time as the drivers continue to step up the attack. They come through the right-hander, onto the airfield straight, and now into the right-hander. This is going to be an absolutely lovely run for the competitors at the front end of the field. Jez Williams going beautifully, leading the race still. Archie Kitching and Callum Voisin into the final 5 minutes of the race. And this is where things are really going to start to get tricky for Jez Williams as the pressure cooker starts to intensify. He mounts up. So now we'll have to see what is going to be the course of events for the drivers as they continue to charge out of the final turn, down the main straight once again. And is there going to be a challenge from Archie Kitching now into the first corner? Battling away for procedure. Archie Kitching's going to try and get the run on Jez Williams. This time he comes from a long way back. But Williams positions the kart exactly where he needs to hold the kart at bay. Down the airfield straight again, and Kitching's got a lovely run out of the hairpin. He's not quite close enough yet to make the move. He needs to make this absolutely so, and he's got to time it just right. This is not going to be easy for any of the competitors as they continue to push forward. So now they will charge onto the far side of the circuit around the straight, and then they come off the loop, and now down the straight up towards the chicane once again. Right, left, right. Archie Kitching's really stepping it up to Jez Williams now as they come down the main straight. Here he goes, and he's going to make the move to the inside line. Archie Kitching takes the lead at Mansell Raceway. A brilliant bit of driving there from Kitching. He stepped that up out of the final chicane, and he looked like he had a good long run at it. And that move has actually tightened up the gap because Callum Voisin is now close in behind Williams. And here comes the 27, Ollie Stevens, with a great chance for a move. Ryan Willis gets a good move there on the 77 of Harry Reynolds. And Reynolds is going to get the move on Logan Parker in turn. So some great driving. Reynolds on the inside of Logan Parker. Good bit of racing in the midfield as well as at the front. But now Archie Kitching's got a proper mission on his hands. Here comes Jez Williams in second. Third is Callum Voisin and fourth is Ollie Stevens. And they are nose to tail out of the final chicane, down the main straight. And is Jez Williams going to make the move? No, he's going to wait for the second hairpin. In through the long flowing right. Back on the power. Up to the braking zone for the second hairpin. In through the left. Very nice run through the hairpin. Back into the right-hander. And now they go along the airfield straight. This is where Jez Williams can really be strong in the braking zone. Into the right-hander. Back on the power, into the left. Oh, he's run wide! Kitching runs wide, and that's moved for Williams. Williams gets through into the lead of the race. And that was a mistake from Archie Kitching, it looked to me. Well, that's a rare error for Archie Kitching. It looked like he just missed his braking point by a metre, if that. And that was enough to get the back end sliding out. And Williams is back through, but Kitching is not going to take that moment lying down. Along the line again. Into the first corner. He doesn't make the move there. He wants to time it right. Ollie Stevens in fourth place is having a great race. Ollie Stevens has definitely taken the initiative. He's caught up to the top three, and his track knowledge is definitely going to come into handy now. Down the airfield straight. Kitching again. Hustles Jez Williams in the back straight. Into the hairpin. Blowing through the left. Back on the power. Tucking through the right-hander flick. And through the left, keeping it nice and planted on the apex and into the braking zone for the hairpin. Running very well. Back on the accelerator pedal again. Down the straight, up to the final chicane. Right, nail the brakes. Left, back on the power. Left and into the pits. Unfortunately comes Jacob Baldry to retire. And now Williams is going defensive. Williams holds the inside line to Kitching. He does not want to lose this lead again. Callum Voisin still there for third, Stevens for fourth, and is Kitching going to make the lunge in the inside of the hairpin? No, Williams protects nicely. So now this is all about defence for Jez Williams. He fought his way back to the front, but now Jez Williams plants the cart on the inside line. I tell you what, Jez Williams is now making his cart as wide as a Buick. He does not want to let him through at all. As they come through the right-hand flick, back through the left-hander, and up towards the final hairpin. Great battle in the midfield as well. We've got a proper tussle going on. That is for, I think, 11th and 12th position. That's Logan Parker duelling with Nicole Sutherland. Sutherland coming through. So a good overtake there from Nicole Sutherland as she makes progress along the straight into the penultimate lap, and there's a little bit of nudging into the first corner. Callum Voisin's back on the toe of number 5, Archie Kitching. Jez Williams holds on to the lead though, and Ollie Stevens is just waiting for his moment. Into the third hairpin, along the airfield straight, and Archie Kitching is trying to get himself back into the lead, but Jez Williams is holding it nicely. They come through the hairpin, into the left-hander, flowing through the left hairpin, and if they're not careful, they're going to get caught here. Harley Horton is in 5th position, and he's catching the top 4 rapidly. So Harley Horton is going to make this a 5-way battle, never mind a 4-way, and not far behind them is the championship battler Sam Gornall. So he's in 6th position, trying to chase them down as we go into the last lap. Jez Williams protects the inside line. Voisin does the same to fend off from Ollie Stevens. Voisin, he's going to try and tuck back in, but it's a wide line from Archie Kitching to dive for Jez Williams. He goes wide, so does Stevens to go around the outside of Voisin. Neither of them makes the move. Archie Kitching on the inside of Williams. Lovely move. Archie Kitching nails Jez Williams on the inside of the third hairpin, to the cheers of Messrs Mansell, Richards and Chambers. And now up the inside, Horton makes the move on Ollie Stevens for 4th position. Harley Horton gets into 4th place, side by side for the lead. Williams trying to get back through. He can't make it. And now massive defence from Archie Kitching. Watch for Voisin in 3rd. He can sweep round the outside. He tries to cut in on Williams, but it's going to be Kitching. Archie Kitching takes the victory. What a race. Archie Kitching continues his championship leading form in Minimax in 2019 with a superb victory. That was absolutely spectacular from Archie Kitching. A terrific race win. And what a sensational performance from the young Minimax superstar for Coles Racing. Archie Kitching has blown us all away with that textbook move into the third hairpin. It seems to be a bit of a signature move on the last lap. It's almost an advantage to be in 2nd position going into the final lap, because you can nail that move on the inside of the third hairpin and grab the lead. Brilliant bit of driving. Archie Kitching takes the flag from Jez Williams and Callum Voisin. Harley Horton fights well to 4th on the final lap from Ollie Stevens. Then Sam Gornall. Tristan Rennie fights back to 7th. What a comeback. Alex Hughes is 8th from Jed Murphy and Nicole Sutherland, who hits the top 10. Harry Reynolds and Logan Parker from Ryan Willis and Juan Waniki. Declan Russell, Lincoln Bailey-Arneson, Cameron Ross and Luke Evans, with just the one retirement, and that is Jacob Baldry. Absolutely spectacular racing from Minimax, and they really have given us a stellar show. Absolutely terrific racing from Minimax. It's been superb battling from them. Next up, it is going to be the first of our Junior Rotax finals. Really exciting race action for the first time in the British Car Championships here at Mansell Raceway in Devon.
There is no terrible way to win. There is only winning.
Let me drive. I will make a fool out of you.
Every one of us has to find a reason to do this. You do it because you're driven.
I was beginning to think I'd never be anything more than a piston-happy, lead-foot punk. Then this starts to happen.
Somebody put it in your mind you gotta be perfect every time out or you're a failure. Well, forget that. Just forget it.
You ready to put away your toys and grow up? Are you ready to make more money in 1 year than your father made in his whole life? Are you ready to become a real race car driver?
When I won it was probably the last time I ever felt pure victory.
Because I'm quicker than all of you.
And if you no longer go for a gap that exists, you're no longer a racing driver.
I mean, hell, isn't that what we're in this for? To stare death in the face and to cheat it?
Come on, there's nobility in that. It's like being knights.
No pressure, nobody breathing down my back, just driving because I left it pure.
A lot of people go through life doing things badly. Racing is important to men who do it well. When you're racing, it's life. Anything that happens before or after, it's just waiting.
I just hope when you do, that I'm there to see it.
Racing. That's the name of the game, isn't it? Win or lose, put up a show.
Fine. Then let's race.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingram and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Jacques Villeneuve, you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Bruno Senna, you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Chris Hoy and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Landon Norris and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
You're listening to Race Day Live on Downforce UK, brought to you by Clapham North MOT, Motorsport Days Live, Stopwatch Hospitality and Trade Price Cars. Living life in the sunshine here at Mansell Raceway in Devon, the Motorsport UK British Kart Championships, third weekend of the season for the Rotax classes, and you're listening live on Downforce Radio. Jake Sanson here on the starting gantry overlooking this beautiful circuit, which I have to say is a massive welcome addition to the British national karting calendar. How on earth have we not raced here before? It's a wonderful facility, great race circuit, amazing open opportunities for great overtaking. And I have to say, it's the perfect blend for a natural new karting circuit to Great Britain. Half Kristianstad in Sweden, half street circuit at the back end. It is an absolutely magic facility. And in the heart of the Devon countryside, you couldn't find a better location. You're even 16 mile away from the seaside town of Sidmouth, so you could even have a nice feet up on a Saturday night down at the beach with a barbecue and a few lobsters. Lovely place to go motor racing and a wonderful end of the country. Every single driver I've spoken to across the Rotax classes, Minimax, Junior, Senior and 177 has said they can't figure out why they haven't been racing here before. It's a wonderful racetrack. You learn so much as a top level racing driver. And to be fair, some of the overtaking moves we've seen just across the first two finals in 177 and Minimax have been absolutely stellar. We've seen two fantastic battles, seeing Chris Thomas take the first race of the victory of the day in Rotax 177, and you've just heard Archie Kitching grab the victory on the final lap from Jez Williams in Minimax to grab his next race victory of the season. I was going to say first, it's only his first of the weekend because Callum Voisin took the two heats yesterday, but he's fought himself back into contention at exactly the right moment. It's Junior Rotax that's up next here, and an absolutely fantastic performance it is going to be, and we'll see some truly sensational race action once again from these competitors as the Junior Rotax class is up and ready once again. Gorgeous sunshine, great to see the family camping atmosphere around the circuit. Plenty of tents and camper vans and motorhomes up and around the circuit as everybody is enjoying the spectacle at this Mansell Raceway circuit. And the bank is absolutely flooded with spectators who have come here, not just from the championship, but also local motorsport fans and furious racing enthusiasts and aficionados who want to see the great race action that the Mansell Raceway is delivering. It's the first time that the circuit has hosted the British Kart Championships, and I have a feeling it's going to become very quickly a permanent staple in the calendar. A great racing facility, the safety standards are second to none, and it's great to see just how incredibly quickly the racing has been taken to the hearts of all of the competitors here. The new clubhouse, very, very warm and inviting. The new cafe system as well. Great to see everybody enjoying it. And it's very clear to see that the hard work and the upstanding spirit of the Mansell Kart Racing Club marshals and officials has been second to none. The Orange Army has once again been out in fantastic fashion around the circuit. A band of men and women, largely volunteers, of course, in the Mansell Kart Race Club officialdom. But the officials and the marshals have been absolutely fantastic. They put in an amazing job once again, and the Orange Army are once again to be commended, particularly here at the Mansell Kart Race Club. They've done an absolutely sensational job, and I have to say, considering the freneticism of the race action, there's not been one major catastrophe, one urgent issue, and the marshals have been quick to the scene of incidents. They've got things clean and tidy. It's a very efficient and slick facility, and great to see, and hopefully it's going to be all three classes that visit the championship circuit here in 2020. It would be great to see not just the Rotax category come here, but also the TKM and Honda Brigade, and of course the IAMI classes. So let's see what happens as the next final gets underway. It's the junior final, and it's going to be the man who took the 2 victories in the heats yesterday, Will Ellswood, against the man who took one of those heats, and that is Kai Hunter, the man who has been completely undefeated across finals in the 2019 season. Let's see what happens. It's Will Ellswood on pole position from Kai Hunter, Tom Adams and Matthew Higgins, Harry Newman-Oakley and Chris Simpson from Brodie Trehorn and Will Egby, William Walker and Edward Matthews, then young Dan Ginchard along with Jensen Watts, Harrison Collings and Charlie Knight from Hugh Lawrenson and Will Jenkins, Spencer Shinner and Ben Casely, Joe Leake and Jack Steadman from Miles Barthorpe and Kieran Kay, Tiernan Rourke and Ryan Taylor-Truman from Owen Allison and Archie Brown, James Crossley and Ollie Tyler from Taylor Babs, Harry Holland, Harry Gibson, Dan Armstrong, Oscar Hoole and Mackenzie Cresswell. So it looks as though Jack Meakin unfortunately picked up a front-fairing penalty from the repechage, and that means that sadly he will not take any further part in the weekend. But that's great news for Mackenzie Cresswell, because he gets the last place on the starting grid, being promoted up into the top 6. So it's the man who won both heats yesterday, Will Ellswood, against the man who won the third, Kai Hunter, the man who has not been beaten in a final this season. 4 wins out of 4 across the 2 finals earlier in the season at PF International, and earlier in the season, of course, as well at the second weekend of the championships. But out they come again here at Mansell Raceway. Junior Final 1 gets underway, and it's a textbook start. Away we go. Ellswood is going to take an early lead to the first corner. Round the outside, Kai Hunter's going to keep it. Kai Hunter onto the runoff. It's not worked. He's dropped to third behind Tom Adams. And a big lunge round the outside, a big charge through from the 59 of that's 58 Ed Matthews. Dan Ginchard's made up about 4 places in the breakings over the second hairpin. A massive lunge forward. So it is Will Ellswood who holds the lead. In second place it is now the E-plate, Tom Adams, and then in third place Kai Hunter has just about got away with that. So he's only lost about a position into the hairpin and back down the straight. So far so good for Will Ellswood. He won both his heats yesterday. He leads the race here. Tom Adams, English Open champion, in second place. Then Kai Hunter. He's not been beaten in a final yet, but so far he's in third. He's got a long way to go though into the second lap, and Kai Hunter is already right back on terms with Tom Adams as they charge up to the braking zone for the hairpin. He's going already. In a second place goes Kai Hunter. Goodness me, he's not going to wait around today. Along the airfield straight, and now pursuing Will Ellswood. He's about 6 kart lengths back on the straight, so he's still got some time to make up. But Kai Hunter straight back into second place, and now the real battle begins. So it's Ellswood, Hunter, Adams, Matthews, Higgins, Newman-Oakley, Brodie Trehorn, Will Walker, Chris Simpson and Daniel Ginchard. He's up into 10th position. What a start for the new boy in Rotax in the British Championship. He's done it in Europe, but he's not raced in the British Championship this season. Here they come, and over the line. That is Ellswood who leads the way in front of the 5 of Hunter. Adams in third position, and in fourth place that is Matthew Higgins as they charge up to the braking zone for the hairpin once again. Some really exciting battles into the second, third hairpin now they go, and along the airfield straight. Some good battles in the mid-pack. Lots of good jockey for position. Whoa, up on the curbs goes the 12. That is Archie Brown. He has a bit of a moment. Sorry, the 72, I should say, not the 12. Archie Brown going up 2 wheels in the air. A really exciting battle up at the sharp end. And now they tail their way through the top hairpin and onto the main straight, with the chicane separating the drivers from the big action on the home straight. And Ellswood still leads it from Hunter and Adams. Fourth place for Higgins. And then it is Matthews and Newman-Oakley from Brodie Trehorn. Brodie Trehorn having a much better run here at Mansell Raceway. Looks better. And up the inside, that is Newman-Oakley. Newman-Oakley gets the move on the inside. That's Will Walker and Chris Simpson battling away. And they have decided to leave it as that for the moment. It's not going to be a massive move from them. And a good battle in the midfield. Still drivers tussling their way through, jockeying for position. But Kai Hunter has already caught the back of Will Ellswood. Goodness me! He has fought his way onto the back of him, and he's gained a good half a second already. In through the hairpin and onto that long flowing straight, up to the chicane once again. This is such a good race already, as now Ellswood has got Hunter and Adams breathing down their neck. So along the main straight, up to the first corner, and Ellswood keeps it nice and neat and tidy. Through that first corner, Hunter running well from Tom Adams. And now to the braking zone as they come through to the third hairpin now. through the right-hander and onto the airfield straight, along the airfield strip. And this is going to be an interesting challenge now for Kai Hunter, because Ellswood has not been beaten over the weekend, but Kai Hunter has not been beaten in a final. He'll never have been more determined to get through and stomp over the opposition. It would be pretty sensational if Kai Hunter could come through and win a 5th straight final in a row. He really has made Junior Rotax his own so far this season. But he's in second place to Ellswood. Oh, he's got a lovely run through the final chicane, though. I think Ellswood maybe having to work hard to keep him at bay. But Hunter's not quite able to get through in the first corner yet. The good thing about Ellswood is that he has got good straight line speed here. Hunter's going to go for it! And Hunter through into the lead! Ellswood down a second, and Tom Adams is trying to get his way through into B2. But Kai Hunter hits the front. So, after a bit of a difficult start, Kai Hunter has got himself back into contention and now leads the race here, and this is only lap 6. So a good run from Kai Hunter. A very good pass there into the second hairpin, just braked nice and calmly into the left-hander, lined him up nicely and made sure the job was done. But Ellswood is not going to give up into the final chicane. He'll get a good line off the turn himself. Hunter's now a little bit weak through the final chicane. Ellswood's got a good run. Will he go for him into the first corner? He definitely thought about it, but he's not quite going to make the move. So he has another chance going into the second hairpin. But Hunter's going to hold the line, and now Adams is getting very hungry in there in third position. That's a great battle. As Brodie Trahorn makes a lovely move. That's Trahorn past Ed Matthews into the third hairpin, gets through, cuts across to the right and makes sure he keeps that 5th position. Lovely bit of driving from Brodie Trahorn. And I think that has given the advantage to Newman Oakley. I think he's got past Matthews as well. So Matthews may have slipped down into 7th position, but Brodie Trahorn making a terrific overtake. Into the final chicane come the 3 leaders. Hunter sliding around. Ellswood has Adams right behind him. So they come through once again. And into the first hairpin. No major causes for concern at the front end of the field. They still battle away beautifully. So racing is absolutely fever pitch as they come through once again. Ellswood tries to get through on Hunter in the second hairpin. Has to back out. And Adams needs to get heavy on the brakes as well, as Dan Ginchard is trying to get his way up the inside of Harrison Collins to break into 9th position. Has he got there? Oh, it's very close, and he's not going to get there. And in fact, around the outside, he's going to get squeezed there by Will Egby. And Will Jenkins is trying to come through. Oh, contact. There's yellows. Now, who's that that's come off the circuit? We've got somebody down at the hairpin after the airfield straight trying to get going again. It's one of the KRs. So I think that's either going to be William Walker or Will Jenkins. It's Will Jenkins. And his devastatingly bad luck yet again. Oh, and Kai Hunter battles with Ellswood for the lead. Ellswood had taken the lead and now Hunter gets him straight back again. So the lead battle is really on as Adams goes for it. I was just about to say that is devastating bad luck as Will Jenkins shakes his head, furious. A very angry Will Jenkins gets himself back into the action, but he's shaking his head furiously. He's not happy with the way that went down at the 4th hairpin. But out in front, it is a very feisty battle for the leaders. Ellswood has a cheeky look on the inside of Hunter in the final chicane, and Adams is sat there in 3rd watching it unfold. They come through to the first hairpin once again. And so far, so good in this tantalising battle at the sharp end of the fray. So a really good run. They continue to battle their way through the S's, through the hairpin, and onto the airfield straight once again. Ginchard has been picking them off one by one, and he's now there in 9th position. So Ginchard has made the move up into 9th behind Harrison Collins. They're both trying to make ground on Harry Newman Oakley. So some really good racing battles already in this phase of proceedings. They come up to the hairpin, and now they're getting back onto the power. Now Hunter's got a real job on his hands here. Ellswood still giving him plenty of pressure into that final chicane, and they come down the main straight. What a lovely move this is turning into in terms of a race battle. It's absolutely fever pitch. They come through the hairpin at the end of the first part of the lap and into the left. Ellswood unable to make the move there. So once again, he's going to have to wait for his moment. But Kai Hunter and William Ellswood are starting to check out in front of the rest of the field. Even Adams is struggling to keep up with them now. as the battle continues in the midfield. Still some good overtakes and some good battles behind the top three, Hunter, Ellsworth and Adams. We've got Higgins and Brodie Trahorn, then Matthews, Newman Oakley, Harrison Collins, Dan Ginchard and Chris Simpson, Will Egby from Ryan Taylor Truman and Jensen Watts. And we are now beyond half distance, 6.5 minutes to go as the leader Kai Hunter tags William Ellsworth into lap 12. They go through together and onto the long stretch towards the second hairpin into the braking zone, and Kai Hunter actually made a mistake there in the braking zone for the hairpin, so Ellsworth is all over the back of him once again, and now Ellsworth might get a run on Kai Hunter as up the inside. That's a great overtaking move from the 85 of Oscar Hull as he gets through on Harry Gibson, the man he battled with in the repechage. So now the leaders are squabbling away again as Ellsworth is caught right up to Kai Hunter. There is a little bit of a gap between those two as they run together from Adams in third position, but a really great start. They come down the straight once more and into the first corner. Kai Hunter in the lead of the race from Will Ellsworth. Adams is dropping back in third position. Fourth and fifth is Higgins and Trahorn, but Brodie Trahorn has got a run now on Matthew Higgins. He's going to try and make his bid to get into fourth position. Brodie Trahorn working his magic. Oh, and that is Collins battling with Ginchard. Ginchard is going to sweep around the outside of Harry Newman Oakley. And that's a lovely bit of driving. Ginchard and both Collins and Ginchard both make the move on Newman Oakley. And it looks to me as though he's lost ground as well to Chris Simpson. A great battle in the midfield. Collins and Ginchard sweeping their way through. So now the leaders come through again. Hunter and Ellsworth. Just under 5 minutes to go. And Ellsworth will shape up his attack on Kai Hunter. They go through the first hairpin. So far, so good. As the battle continues to intensify. They will continue to keep this run. And now, Ellsworth is still pushing on to Kai Hunter. Brodie Trahorn, meanwhile, has caught right up to Matthew Higgins. And you can sense a fourth place manoeuvre is not far away. Trahorn's getting very hungry there as he goes into the left-hand hairpin in the second sector, and they cross the sector line and now go sweeping into the Monaco section of the circuit. Tight walls either side, no chance to make a mistake, and a really exciting run off the turn into the chicane. Back on the power, Kai Hunter wobbling a little in the chicane, and now Ellsworth's got a chance up to the first corner. He doesn't make the move. He had the line there, and he certainly had the space. He clearly wants to be the man who starts the final lap in second place, because he's going to get a great run. They come through. Oh, and Ellsworth makes a mistake. Ellsworth makes a mistake in the third hairpin and runs wide. That's a big problem for Ellsworth. It looked to me for a moment as though something was braking on the kart, but he just made an error, and that has given Kai Hunter breathing space. That could be enough to win the race for Kai Hunter. A big issue for Will Ellsworth there. He just got it slightly wrong in the braking zone for the third hairpin, the right-hander onto the airfield straight. And it looks to me as though that could be enough to hand Kai Hunter his fifth straight victory in a final. So Hunter has the advantage now to Ellsworth and Adams. Adams looks like he's going to make an attack on Will Ellsworth for second place. But this is going to be a real problem for Ellsworth if he can't get himself back up to speed. Rhythm is everything here, and it looks to me as though he's already got some difficulties. A great tussle in the midfield. That's Ginchard hitting the front of his little squabble as they jockey for position. There's about 6 of them in the mix. That is Jack Stedman trying to come through on Ryan Newman and Harry Newman Oakley. Egby and Taylor Truman are battling wheel to wheel on this yellow flag. 3 of them in the hairpin. 3 of them in the hairpin at the end of the straight. That's gone terribly badly wrong in the midfield. That was in the battle for 10th position. 3 of them have gone together in the second sector. Now, the big mission is going to be finding out who it is, because from that distance, it's going to be tricky. I think that is Chris Simpson in there with Will Walker and Ben Casely. So the 3 drivers have come together. Looks to me as though they've all got going again, but unfortunately it's cost them big time in terms of positions. So Simpson, Walker and Casely have now gone to the back end of the field with only Will Jenkins in front of them now. In fact, Jenkins has actually overtaken the 48 of Chris Simpson. So Simpson was battling in the top 10. He's now down at the back, unfortunately. But we're in the closing 2 minutes of the first final of Junior Rotax here at Mansell Raceway in Devon, and it's a brilliant run for Kai Hunter. He leads in front of Ellsworth and Adams. 4th place still for Higgins, but Trahorn is very close. Then in 6th it is the 96. That is Harrison Collins. He's fought his way. Ed Matthews is now 7th from Ginshard, Egby, Taylor Truman and Newman Oakley. Some great racing. Egby now plants one at the inside of Dan Ginshard and gets the place. Ginshard now has to fight to hold off the attentions of Ryan Taylor Truman, who's trying to get back on the inside of Ginshard into the next hairpin, and he's there. There's not a lot Ginshard can do but let him go. So a good bit of racing out of the top 6 as well. Some really great race action, some really good battles. But at the moment, Kai Hunter is trying to get away from Will Ellsworth, who has stepped up the attack and is trying to catch him. Less than a minute to go. So I make it 3 laps to go. This is going to be very, very tough for the drivers to hang on to at the front end of the field. Kai Hunter has a bit of a lead, but Ellsworth is going to try and storm back through. And there's great racing all the way down the field, with lots of great action still to come from the televised final later. The second final. But Kai Hunter is just edging away from Will Ellsworth. He doesn't need to push too hard. He's got time, he's got a gap, and so far so good, as out of the final hairpin, it looks to me as though Kai Hunter is actually going to have 2 laps to go here, not necessarily 1 lap to go. He'll cross the line with a few seconds still in the can. So Kai Hunter is going to have 2 laps left of this racetrack. Oh, now the inside, Trahorn trying to hang on as Higgins squeezes back on the inside. Trahorn's going to get him on the switchback. They're side by side for 4th. Higgins holds the inside of the hairpin. Trahorn's going to get him on the undercut. Coming to sweep back through on the hairpin. Now gets him on the switcheroo down the airfield straight. But Trahorn can't quite make the space. And there's contact further back. Somebody else has come off the circuit at the second hairpin of the second sector. Yellow flags are waving. And that's a difficulty if there's a battle for position or 2. Yellow flags are waving. So let's see if there's an incident there for a couple of drivers. Somebody has come off the track. Now that looks to me like Joe Leake. I think it's the TWM driver Joe Leake who has not come through. As we go into the last lap, Kai Hunter now has 1 more lap to do. And Higgins is hanging on to 4th position by a thread from Brodie Trahorn, the 41. He storms into the braking zone for the hairpin. Trahorn's going to try and get the switch back out of the turn, and Brodie Trahorn is going to get alongside him in the braking zone. He doesn't quite make it. So tight. But Trahorn is trying every trick in the book. Now into the left hairpin. Surely he can get across. No. Higgins holds him off. But down the first straight up towards the final chicane, Kai Hunter remains unbeaten as he takes his 5th win of the season in the final. Terrific job from Kai Hunter. Ellsworth is 2nd, Adams is 3rd. Higgins just hangs on to 4th from Brodie Trahorn. From Collins in 6th position. And then Matthews, Egby, Taylor Truman and Dan Ginshard. Wow, a brilliant battle in the top 10 all the way through. Absolutely fantastic race action. And a great bit of racing from the drivers in Junior Rotax. They've put on quite a show here at Mansell Raceway. And what a stellar performance it has turned out to be for Kai Hunter. 5 from 5. It's high 5 for Kai Hunter as he continues his dominant race win in Junior Rotax and makes it 5 final wins out of 5 starts. Will Ellsworth in 2nd place from Tom Adams. Matthew Higgins is 4th from Brodie Trahorn. Then it is Harrison Collins in front of Ed Matthews and Will Egby. Ryan Taylor Truman is 9th from Dan Ginshard in the top 10. Harry Newman Oakley is 11th from Jensen Watts and Jack Steadman. Charlie Knight is 14th in front of Kieran Kay and Hugh Lawrenson. Then Tiernan Rourke and Spencer Shinner, Archie Brown and Taylor Babs, Miles Barthorpe, Harry Holland, and then Ollie Tyler and James Crossley, Dan Armstrong and Oscar Hull, from Owen Allison and Mackenzie Cresswell, then Harry Gibson and Ben Casely, Will Jenkins, Will Walker and Chris Simpson, and the one retirement from the race was Joe Leake, who came off at the 2nd hairpin of the 2nd sector. Thrilling racing and a brilliant performance from Kai Hunter to make it 5 wins out of 5. Truly brilliant racing. And that just shows you how tight it is in Junior Rotax. So always a very tough mission, always a very tough battle. but the competitors are always very evenly matched in these classes, and particularly in Rotax we have seen some truly incredible race action, and we're going to see some more as the battles continue into the next one, and we'll see some more thrilling action from senior Rotax up next.
Coming out to the light of day, we got many moons that are deep in place. So I keep an eye on the shadow smile to see what it has to say. You and I both know everything must go away. What do you say? Spinning out that is on my heart. It's like a bit of light and a touch of dark. You got sneak attack from the zodiac, but I see your eyes spark. And go, blow by blow and go away. What do you say? Yeah, you don't know my mind, you don't know my kind. Dark necessities are part of my design. And tell the world that I'm falling from the sky. Dark necessities are part of my design. Stumble down to the parking lot. You got no time for the afterthought. The light, ice cream for an astronaut. Well, that's me looking for weed. Turn the corner and find the world at your command. Playing the hand. Yeah, you don't know my mind, you don't know my kind. Dark necessities are part of my design. Tell the world that I'm falling from the sky. Dark necessities are part of my design. Do you want this love of mine? Darkness helps the soul to shine. Do you want it? Do you want it now? Do you want it all the time? But darkness helps the soul to shine. Do you want it? Do you want it now? Pick you up like a paperback with the track record of a maniac. So I move it in and we unpack. It's the same as yesterday. Anyway we roll, everything must go away. What do you say? Yeah, you don't know my mind, you don't know my kind. Dark necessities are part of my design. Tell the world that I'm
Hi, I'm Tom Ingham and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Jacques Villeneuve. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Bruno Senna. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Chris Hoy, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Landon Norris, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
You're listening to Race Day Live on Downforce UK, brought to you by Clapham North MOT, Motorsport Days Live, Stopwatch Hospitality, and Trade Price Cars. Green flag flies, and it's time to go racing again, this time for Senior Rotax in their first final of the weekend. And it's already been a pretty exciting day of race action for them. Thanks to the repechage race, we saw some thrilling battles from Senior Rotax earlier on. But now the battle will progress again as Guy Cunnington takes residence in pole position from Tom Edmonds. Reese Hunter is third from Kieran Gifford. Bradley Barrett and Oakley Pryor come next. Then it is James Lowther and Morgan Rose from Jemima Hepworth and Luke Wooder. Lewis Halliday is in front of Ben Davis, then Teddy Clinton and Ben Burgess. James Johnson is in front of Ryan Luscombe. Lewis Gilbert fights back from Rob Ellis. Then Sam Stansbury and Lewis Malin. Merrick Gigg and Jake Douglas from Sam Baker and Jack McConnell. James Lingard and Sam Harrison. Jason Lockwood and Michael Roots. Angie Stenning, Thomas Storrar, Ben Jones, Harry Canham, George Holbrook and Sam Sanders. So the drivers are going to come out of the chicane, back up the tram lines, ready for action. Will it be a good start? Yes, it is! And Guy Cunnington charges to the first corner. No problem at all, trying to hold it round the outside. Here's the second place man, Tom Edmonds, and he runs wide. All sorts of problems, jockeying and jostling for position. Drivers trying to get through into the hairpin, and it could be a little bit messy. They've just about got away with it. Into the third hairpin, and they keep it nice and tight. But there's problems for George Holbrook. George Holbrook's got a mechanical problem and out of the race immediately. Disaster for George Holbrook into the first corner. Tom Edmonds has had a terrible start. Looks like the KR Sport driver has dropped down into about 6th or 7th place, I think. But Guy Cunnington leads the way from Reese Hunter and Bradley Barrett. The two Dan Holland Racing cars are there in 2nd and 3rd. Up to 4th place, that's one of the Coles carts. That's got to be James Lowther. It is indeed. So Guy Cunnington holds the lead of the race. But now here comes the number 3, Reese Hunter, trying to charge up to him on the inside of the hairpin. Cunnington for the Persistence Motorsport squad holds the inside line and keeps himself neatly in position. Big dive up the inside from one of the KR Sports in the midfield in the third hairpin. That looked to me like it could well have been Tom Edmonds making progress on Oakley Pryor. But he's fallen all the way down outside the top 10 in the early stages, and that's a big move on the inside from the Persistence man. That's Ben Burgess. So Burgess has made a good start, but Tom Edmonds has made a terrible one. It's all gone wrong for the man who won the first heat yesterday. Guy Cunnington still in charge of the race, though, from Hunter and Bradley Barrett. Then it's James Lowther. Here goes Hunter. Hunter for the lead of the race in the first corner. Oh, and he nudges Cunnington. And the front fairing got a little bit sideways there. Now, the big question is, Cunnington down to 4th behind Barrett and Lowther, but is Cunnington going to have a front fairing penalty because of that? There was definite rubbing between Reese Hunter and Guy Cunnington, and the front fairing of Cunnington's got, we got 2 of them off at the second hairpin on the exit. That looks to me like Thomas Storrar, and Thomas Storrar appears to have come together with, is that Angie Stenning? I'm not sure, but we'll double check. No, it's Michael Roots. Michael Roots, unfortunately, has come together with the 40 of Thomas Storrar. So Michael Roots, it's 3 wide for the lead of the race. James Lowther's got through on the 5 of Bradley Barrett to take 2nd place, and that's given Reese Hunter a bit of a break. So Reese Hunter leads. 2nd place now is James Lowther. He drifts a little bit wide. Bradley Barrett trying to cut back on the inside of the hairpin, but it's not going to happen. And so now Bradley Barrett's got to try and fend off from Guy Cunnington, who makes the lunge into the hairpin, but he can't get through. And in 5th place now is Kieran Gifford. Up to 6th is Jemima Hepworth. Jemima Hepworth is having a great weekend in Senior Rotax. So Jemima Hepworth charges to the top 6. She could well get the podium in this race. And she's still picking them off one by one. This is a great run from Jemima Hepworth, who runs there in B6 as they come through down the straight once again. And the 83 is running well. The Young Racing Driver Academy driver putting in a great charge. And now she's going to try and make the move on the inside of the 71. But no dice, as Kieran Gifford is not prepared to play ball. And there's a big jostle further back. That's for 8th position. A big squabble between Pryor, Wooder and Clinton. And it looks like Tom Edmonds is in amongst that somewhere. No, he's down to 17th now, would you believe? Tom Edmonds is all the way back in P17. Well, disaster then for Tom Edmonds, who was on the front row. So now it's Hunter. And is that Lowther in second place from Bradley Barrett? I think it is, yes. So now it is Hunter versus Lowther for the lead of the race as they come through down the main straight once again. So Hunter, Lowther, Barrett, Cunnington. 5th place is Gifford. 6th is Jemima Hepworth. Then it is 7th place for Oakley Pryor, Morgan Rose, Teddy Clinton and Luke Wooder. So the top 6 runs very valiantly indeed up at the front end of the field. And as they charge their way through, so far so good for the competitors as they continue to run forward. But this is going to be a really exceptional race battle for the drivers as they charge towards the front end. They go through the loop and up on the charge again. Onto the Monaco twisty section of the circuit, very tight in. Tough barriers either side, no runoff, no chance for a mistake. Down the straight out of the hairpin and up to the final chicane for Hunter. Lowther is catching him. James Lowther's definitely closing on Reese Hunter. So Reese Hunter is going to try and keep his lead, but James Lowther is going to give him plenty to do as they battle away for supremacy again. But interestingly, it is a tough battle for both of the drivers that won heats yesterday. Guy Cunnington, who took 2 of them, is down to 4th place. Tom Edmonds, who got 1 of them, is down to 19th position. A terrible start to the race for Tom Edmonds then. But so far, it is a cracker between Reese Hunter and James Lowther. They will battle for the senior Rotax victory up front, by the look of things, for the entirety of 5 minutes down, 10 to go. And as they come to the final chicane once again, Reese Hunter holding off James Lowther. In 3rd position, Bradley Barrett. Squiggly as Guy Cunnington gives him a lot of pressure. Down the straight, Cunnington's going to make the move into 3rd position. No, he's not, because Brad Barrett charges away. And Jemima Hepworth is up to 5th position. She's made the move on Kieran Gifford. So Cunnington trying to come around the outside of Bradley Barrett. But this is a big weekend for Jemima Hepworth in the British Championship. She's up to 5th place and she's charging forward. Cunnington goes for 3rd on Barrett. And the gap is left open for Hepworth. Hepworth trying to come through into 4th position and she's done it. Hepworth into 4th position. Great bit of driving. So now Guy Cunnington is 3rd and Jemima Hepworth is up into 4th place. The Downforce Radio Teen Racer of the Year 2019, named after the late great Henry Surtees, has forced her way to 4th position and she's continuing the bandwagon rolling beautifully. So now Reese Hunter running well as he battles for position with James Lowther. Lowther trying to hold off position. And that's a big lunge from Bradley Barrett on the inside of Hepworth and he gets through. Hepworth now having to fend off the clay racing cart of that's Oakley Pryor. And now Hepworth is going to try again on Bradley Barrett, but Barrett holds the door very firmly shut. Into the next hairpin, the left, and now squeaking up to the right-hander, flat on the throttle. A great race. Really good battle in the top 5. So Reese Hunter leads the race from James Lowther in 2nd position. They come up to the final chicane. Right, left, right, and now over the start-finish line once again. Good battle. Lowther's got a chance now on Hunter. Goes for the inside line and takes the lead of the first corner. James Lowther hits the front and leads here at Mansell Raceway. Now, Reese Hunter trying to get back into position. 3rd is Cunnington, 4th is Barrett, and 5th is Jemima Hepworth. So Jemima Hepworth still working hard here in Senior Rotax to get up the inside of Bradley Barrett, and she takes 4th into the 2nd sector hairpin, and she takes 4th place from Bradley Barrett. Great bit of racing. Hunter's back in the lead on Lowther. Reese Hunter dives at the inside of James Lowther and gets the place again. So now Hunter on the straight heading to the final chicane. Great race battle this is turning into, and there's still a long, long way to go. But we are in for a rip-roaring race from here on in. As we go into the second half of the race, Bradley Barrett's going to have to try and defend now from Kieran Gifford as Hepworth is dropping him like a stone and she's starting to catch the leading 3. Cunnington, meanwhile, is closing in on Hunter and Lowther. So anything is still possible here in the British Championships. Great racing. Bradley Barrett still hanging on in front of Kieran Gifford as they duel for 5th position, as into the pit lane to retire comes Ben Burgess of the Persistence Motorsport team. Whether that's crash damage or mechanical problems, we don't know, but Ben Burgess sadly is out of the race, whatever happens. So the leading three have got a decent gap now to Jemima Hepworth in fourth, but she's got a bit of a gap to Brad Barrett and Kieran Gifford. So it could be a very interesting second half of the race as Gifford continues to battle it out with Bradley Barrett. Oakley Pryor is getting in the mix there as well in 7th position. So Pryor may make a move or two on the guys in front, as Guy Cunnington has caught up to the back of James Lowther, and Lowther is closing in on Hunter. As up the inside, Gifford has a lunge on Barrett, and Oakley Pryor tried to go with him, but neither of them were able to get the move on Barrett in the end, and Barrett is actually dropping back to Jemima Hepworth now. So big problems for Bradley Barrett in fending off Kieran Gifford, but the top four are away and clear. Reese Hunter, James Lowther, Guy Cunnington and Jemima Hepworth in 4th position. Great racing. So Reese Hunter out in front of James Lowther and Guy Cunnington. A really good performance up at the sharp end of the field. Hunter, Lowther and Cunnington is no massive surprise in the top three, but there'll be a few people who will be pleasantly raising eyebrows at Jemima Hepworth's performance in 4th place, but she's had an amazing career up to this point, mainly only a club racer, predominantly in the south of England, but here in the British Championships on a circuit she knows well, she's been able to make good use of her opportunity. She represented Great Britain in the FIA Girls on Track weekend at Le Mans back in March, and she's a very incredible racing driver, great talent, amazing ability considering the budget they run to. And it's no joke that she was the Downforce Radio Teen Racer of the Year last year. Thoroughly deserved the accolade. And now she is battling at the front end of the British Championships in the 3rd weekend of the season in Rotax in the senior category here at Mansell Raceway. The top three are absolutely glued to each other, so if Jemima Hepworth can get close to them, there's a chance of a top three finish. But what a sensational weekend this is turning into for senior Rotax as the final continues in this second half. 4.5 minutes to go, and it's Hunter, Lowther and Cunnington battling for the victory, and they are nose to tail. Any one of the three of them could win. Reese Hunter, James Lowther and Guy Cunnington, all with a point to prove. Lowther and Cunnington up from juniors last year. They were the British Championship rivals, battling for victory. Now they are battling for senior Rotax victory with Reese Hunter, the older of the two Dan Holland Racing Hunter brothers. And Jemima Hepworth in 4th place has well and truly got away from Brad Barrett and Oakley Pryor, who has now made the move on Kieran Gifford in 7th. 8th is now Teddy Clinton from Johnson, Malin. Lewis Gilbert's up to 11th. Then it's Morgan Rose. Oh, up the inside! That is Cunnington. He makes the move on Lowther. Cunnington into 2nd on Lowther in the 1st hairpin in the 2nd sector. And Guy Cunnington into P2. That's given Reese Hunter a bit of a breathing space break. So now Reese Hunter is up in front. Cunnington is 2nd to Lowther in 3rd. And Hepworth is 4th. A brilliant bit of racing. The blue flags are going to come out shortly for the 40 of Thomas Storer. So Thomas Storer is going to need to get out of the way as the race leaders come up to lap him. But the number 3 is there in position in the lead of the race. That is Reese Hunter in front of Cunnington and Lowther from Jemima Hepworth in 4th position. Then it is the 5 of Bradley Barrett, who's in 5th position. Oakley Pryor, though, has his hand in the air at Oakley Pryor. He's not happy as Will Walker tries to get into 7th place round the outside of Kieran Gifford. A brilliant battle now begins for 5th position as the 4 of them are absolutely pummeling round these apexes and trying to find space to squeeze up the inside. But a very frustrated Oakley Pryor is getting fairly irritated now, staring at the back of Bradley Barrett. They come through down the main straight, and again Thomas Storer is shown the blue flag to get out of the way. His argument is going to be that he's still a good 10 kart lengths in front of Reese Hunter, Guy Cunnington and James Lowther. So he won't be moving out of the way anytime quickly, as Lewis Gilbert has now caught up to the back of the 5th place battle. So that puts Gilbert into 10th position, So Gilbert is now at the back of the train, and it's Barrett, Pryor, Gifford, Clinton, Johnson and Lewis Gilbert. They are battling for 5th position, those 6. Sanders makes a bid to get past Harry Canham at the back of the field. Storer really now does need to get out of the way. He's been shown the blue flag 3 successive laps, and he's going to let them all go. Well done to Storer. So he lets the top 4 drivers go as Oakley Pryor gets up the inside of Bradley Barrett and into 5th position. Now Cunnington, he's going for the move on Reese Hunter into the third hairpin, and he's going to try and get the switchback up the inside. Reese Hunter defends. Guy Cunnington sticks to the racing line, trying to get a switchback move in the hairpins into the left. Reese Hunter holds it. Nicely done. So a very tough battle now in the offing as Guy Cunnington is stepping up the attack on Reese Hunter, trying to get his move out of the hairpin, down the straight, up towards the final chicane. We're running short on time and laps, but there's just going to be over a minute to go, so still a good 3 laps left of this as Cunnington chases down Reese Hunter again, up to the first corner, and he's going to make the lunge! Cunnington gets there on the inside of Reese Hunter. As late as you like, he makes the move and gets in the inside line. Cunnington takes the lead through the first 3 hairpins of the lap, and Guy Cunnington has hit the front from Reese Hunter and James Lowther, and then Jemima Hepworth is next up, and she's very close to those top 3. So Hepworth, he's catching the leaders, and that move, Cunnington on Hunter, has given her a chance of a podium now. We're in the final 30 seconds of timed racing, so at the end of this one, there is going to be just 2 laps to go. Out of the chicane, and Cunnington leads the way from Hunter, Lowther and Hepworth with 2 to go. And Storer is now shown the blue flag again. Oakley Pryor has his hand in the air as if to say, come on, what are you playing at? He gets out of the way of the first corner though. So Oakley Pryor is now 5th position with no traffic in front of him. Barrett is next up, then it is Gifford, then it's Lewis Gilbert who's up to 8th place. So a good comeback from the Dolrye Diamond. Now into the hairpin goes Cunnington in front of Hunter, Lowther and then Hepworth, who's only about 3 kart lengths back. So if they jostle for second place, Hepworth's got a chance of a top 3 finish. But Cunnington is still leading the way from Reese Hunter. This could all still change. Into the chicane. And it's Cunnington, Hunter, Lowther, Hepworth as they come out of the final turn down the main straight. Last lap begins, and we are in for a pretty exceptional race here in the final lap. Oakley Pryor desperately trying to hang on to 5th place in front of Barrett and Gifford as Storer gets out of the way of more of them. But the last lap begins, and it's a freight train. Oakley Pryor trying to hang on from Barrett, Gifford and Gilbert. They are battling for 5th position, and there's a battle going on for 10th as well. That is Rose, Malin, Clinton and Wooder. But it looks to me as though the top 4 is going to remain unchanged. I don't think Lowther's going to be close enough to Reese Hunter, and I'm not sure Hepworth's going to get close enough to challenge for the top 4. But what a race this was set up for final 2, and a brilliant try from Guy Cunnington. He lost out initially, he fought back, he took the lead. Guy Cunnington wins here at Mansell Raceway. 2nd for Reese Hunter, 3rd for James Lowther, and a brilliant 4th position for Jemima Hepworth. Excellent racing, a terrific performance, and an amazing race to come in final 2. Truly terrific stuff. That is an amazing top 4, and the first half of the finals comes to a conclusion with an amazing set of races to come later as we get ourselves a very exciting battle in the offing now for the drivers, and we'll see some truly spectacular racing in the second half of the day. Well, it's been absolutely sensational. Great motorsport action, great racing, and there's still more to come in the second finals later, of course. Guy Cunnington takes the win from Reese Hunter. James Lowther is 3rd from Jemima Hepworth. Then Oakley Pryor and Bradley Barrett from Kieran Gifford and Lewis Gilbert. James Johnson and Morgan Rose. Then it is Lewis Malin and Teddy Clinton from Luke Wooder and Ben Davis. Sam Stansbury and Rob Ellis. And then it will be Sam Harrison from Lewis Halliday and Ryan Luscombe. Jake Douglas rounds out the top 20 from Jack McConnell, James Lingard, Angie Stenning and Jason Lockwood. Then Merrick Gigg, Tom Edmonds, Sam Baker, Harry Canham, Sam Sanders and Thomas Storer. And the retirements, there were quite a few of them in the end. Ben Burgess, Dan Jones, Michael Roots, and the man who retired on the very first lap, George Holbrook, who had mechanical problems on the rolling lap and brought the kart into a retirement. Well, it's going to be a really exciting second half of the day as the battle will continue again after a half-hour pause. Racing will resume again in Rotax 177. So it's going to be a truly exciting second half of the day here. Downforce Radio is with you for all of the finals later on as well. So make sure you tune in to us. I'm Jake Sanson. It's going to be a brilliant second half of race action here at Mansell Raceway. listening to Race Day Live on Downforce UK, brought to you by Clapham North MOT, Motorsport Days Live, Stopwatch Hospitality, and Trade Price Cars.
Hi, I'm Tom Ingram and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Jacques Villeneuve. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Bruno Senna. You're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Chris Hoy, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.
Hi, I'm Landon Norris, and you're listening to Downforce Radio.